Hello YouTube, J-Bob, the video game slob, coming back at you with another pile of mail day fun. If you haven't been watching Limited Run Games, LRG has been doing what they call the Vault. So they've dropped Vault 1. This is an order from Vault 2. When they dropped Vault 2, they included a coupon code for 40% off Vault 1 to try to get all that stuff out. I got an email recently that said, all the Vault 1 is gone. If there was anything left in stock, it's now even out of that. The idea is to get rid of all of the things that they have from their inventory, from their warehouse, so that they can make space and simplify their business logistics. So a number of these things were just out of print, and so picking them up when they're still at MSRP, and the rest of it is stuff from Run 1 that was super cheap, so we picked that stuff up. And so, yeah, away we go. American Hero, one of those really weird FMV games that they were pushing for a while. Night Trap and all those other ones that kind of hit that resurgence that they were trying to, push or what have you. And so that's what that one was. Again, I always stay away from these, like, they're limited run pushed, but it's like PM Studios. They're sports games. I never really feel like those are a super good value. But when they're, cheap, let's go ahead and pick them up. So here's where the things get a little annoying. So here we have River City Girls 2. This was the third game that they ever printed for the Xbox, and I was like, okay, as these have gotten more collectible, I'm an Xbox fan, I'll start picking those up. But what you'll see here, and actually I think I passed it already on the first American Hero on PS4, is all this stuff arrived in just one gigantic box. It would be hard to explain because it was, even bigger, of course, than what you're seeing here. And so what's unfortunate about that, and you'll see here in this next one, is some of the items got damaged in there. So the Castlevania collection, I figured, although I'm paying retail for it, let's go ahead and pick it up. It's got Kid Dracula, lots of stuff like that. I don't really believe in Konami to keep the collectability of these things up long term, but why not? So you can see my second copy here of River City Girls is pretty beat up, frankly. And so because everything was sliding around and I ordered a bunch of books and they just threw everything in, the plastics gets damaged on that stuff. And so I just sent him a message saying, hey, I'm not interested in a refund. I just want you to know you packaged this stuff really terribly. At least put some stuff around it so it doesn't go, binking around everywhere. And so they sent a message back after 2 just automated form letters. I said, hey, you're not even reading, what I'm putting down here. And the guy said, oh, yeah, we don't read these. But we'll give you $9. I was like, I know, I said I didn't want a refund. I just want you to acknowledge that, this isn't the best way to handle collectible items. And then they wrote and said that they don't consider games to be in new condition and that the plastic around the games is not of importance to them in any way. So, I don't know. Certainly disheartening was not the customer service I was hoping to hear. I just kind of wanted somebody to say, yeah, that sucks. We'll try better next time. But there you go. All these books were well under $10. The History of Sunsoft. I don't think these are collectible in any way. These are just sort of for the collection for me to look through. The Atari archives. I've not purchased any of these previously because they were very expensive. But, so far they're, of really high quality printing and design. I do have the full Virtual Boy collection, so having the, the full book, for the coffee table for whatever, seemed kind of cool. I didn't pick up duplicates or anything because, like I said, I don't think these are collectible or I could sell them in a retail location. But the endings compendium, just really cool to be able to have all the NES endings. And then I grabbed, I think, the first 2 books in the NES Works series. I don't even know if 1988 was available, but obviously lots of the classics. This is where, a ton of the early NES history is. And so, sometimes you always don't want to have to sit down and watch a YouTube video. You can just read a book, pick something up, show somebody, share the history. And so trying to build a bit of a video game library there. All the Switch stuff, the story on those essentially is like, they were all under $15 with tax shipped. And so these were games that just, for somewhat clear reasons, were not on my list. I tend to buy the shoot 'em ups. I tend to buy the RPGs. I tend to buy the Xbox ones. But you're usually paying that Switch tax of an extra like $5 a game, and so yeah, anytime I could just get Switch games this cheap that are new, sealed, in theory limited. I mean, obviously they printed so many that they couldn't even sell them all. So I mean, I don't know how collectible they'll be long run, but since in theory they're now out of print and they're moving on, seemed like the time to grab these. Yeah, 2D pixel side-scrolling RPG with town building elements. Seems interesting. That may be one I had on another system or something. I don't know. But yeah, when I saw that, I was like, what is this? And frankly, sometimes you're like, this is the disaster of being a collector, is that you know you're buying these things and you're like, I'll probably never pick up most of those, like Mystic Ocean. This one did seem pretty interesting. Gunbrick. Had an interesting story on the back, so that one may pop in when I'm on a trip someday. This was not on sale. I did pay up for this. I had passed on it originally. I have the full Working Designs set. I went through years and years ago, like 10 years ago, and picked up all the Working Designs games. And so it's just so hard when I see a Valis collection not to add that in there. This was another one I think that was a full price. The Blood Rain Betrayal Fresh Bites that I had passed on before. But given that I have like the Blood Rain movies and all this other crap, it was like, all right, let's jump on that. So we added that one. And then the Rift Tracks, which I'm pretty sure I picked up off of VGP or something else on PS4. But it's Rift Tracks, and I love watching MST3K and all that kind of stuff. So unfortunately, it is kind of a multiplayer experience. So again, I'll probably never get any enjoyment out of that. But for like $12 or whatever it was, we went ahead and grabbed that. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on limited run games? Have you had customer service experiences with them? I've literally been ordering with them since 2016, since the second game they ever released. So I have a lot of their stuff in my collection. This was my first negative interaction with them, so I'll probably write that off. But, curious if you've been taking advantage of the vault and what kind of things you all have been collecting. Let me know in the comments. YouTube, we'll see you real soon with another video.